how many of you had an alcoholic drink before you were 21? Most of you would be lying if you said you didn't. If the majority of people in this country started drinking before they were 21, then why is this still illegal? America is one of the 12 countries that still have a high drinking age. 18-year-olds are allowed to vote and serve and die for their country, but they're still not allowed to have a drink. In other countries around the world, teenagers are allowed to drink because they have normalized the use of alcohol. So they use it at a much more responsible level. Teenagers will learn how to drink much more responsibly if they're allowed to start drinking from a young age. America would be a lot safer if alcohol was normalized in society. Like, college campuses are littered with underage drinking, and everybody knows it. Many underage people drink because it's like a forbidden fruit. It's human nature to do something that people tell you not to do. Like, college students often hide out in private areas or frat houses to binge drink. Teenagers binge drink because alcohol is illegal, so they feel they need to drink as much as they can in the smallest amount possible to get the results. So teens don't know how to be responsible with alcohol because their number one focus is not getting caught. In order to not get caught, many convince themselves that they're sober enough to drive, and they don't always make it home. This leads to thousands of drunk driving deaths every year. If colleges didn't spend the money that they did on stopping drinking, then they would be able to have events that encourage drinking responsibly on campus, so these instances don't happen. But instead of students hiding out and drinking their liver, they could come to school events and drink socially and safely instead of binging. In recent years, there's been a movement to completely close down frats because of the high amount of alcohol and drugs that are known to be consumed there. But teenagers go to frat parties because they want to drink, and that is the easiest way to find alcohol. Ironically, the best way to make frat houses safer is actually allowing the teenagers to drink. Because, for example, once people turn 21, they don't go to frat parties anymore. They go to the bars where it's legal. So if the legal age was 18, then there would be less parties that are considered irresponsible because it's illegal. So if you want to get drunk, you can go to the bar. But many people are against lowering the drinking age because it was tried before unsuccessfully. The drinking age was first lowered during the Vietnam War era. The country was asking thousands of teenagers to risk their lives for their country, and why should they be able to serve and die for their country, but not be able to have a beer? But when they lowered the drinking age, highway traffic deaths started to rise at a very alarming rate. Because of this, the federal government decided to make a law to punish states with a lower drinking age by cutting some of their highway funds. While technically, lowering the drinking age made the roads more dangerous statistically, so much has changed from the Vietnam era to now. There are many options to help you drink responsibly nowadays. During that time, if you had a couple too many drinks at the bar, the only options that you really had were to drive yourself, which is incredibly dangerous, walk, or hopefully one of your friends that's there is sober and he's able to drive you home. But these days with cell phones, you can call up a friend or family member for a ride, or there's apps now like Uber or Lyft that can always support you with a ride at 24 hours a day. America in 2020 is a much different country than it was 40 years ago. Out of 190 countries, there's only 12 countries that have, including America, that have the drinking age of 21. Like, in this country, 18-year-olds can vote, they can operate a motor vehicle, pay taxes, they can get married, they can become a legal guardian, they can own a gun, they can fight in a war, They can even become a governor of the great state of Rhode Island, but you can't drink a beer. The legal age is below 21 in most European countries. The reason that people drink more responsibly in Europe is because they've been exposed to it ever since they were little kids. So this allows them to know their limits and drink responsibly and just stay safer. The culture of alcohol is completely different in Europe than America. Much of America is cultured around large amounts of drinking, while Europe's culture drinks conservatively and just more socially. Like many Europeans start having a glass of wine with dinner at age 12. There was actually a study done by Prevention Research Center that talks about how European teens they spend more time intoxicated than American teens. Many people's first thoughts would be, but isn't that a bad thing? But there's actually another study done by the World Health Organization that explains even though European teens drink more often than Americans, Americans die more from alcohol-related causes. So Europeans drink more often from an early age, so they may drink more overall, but the studies prove that the early start helps teens practice drinking responsibly and safe. America needs to catch up with the rest of the world and lower the drinking age to 18. College campuses would be a lot safer because instead of meeting at frat houses or parties and binge drinking, they would be able to drink publicly and learn how to drink responsibly. Some people will say it will only make the highways more dangerous like it did in the 80s, but we have technology now that we did not have back then. In legal parts of Europe, teens are drunk more often than we are, but we still die more often from alcohol-related causes. If the culture in Europe allows them to drink often and still be safe while doing it, then why haven't we lowered the drinking age to allow our people to drink safely? If you still believe that I shouldn't be able to have a beer, please rewatch this video and pay attention.